UFC 290 just got finished up, and I thought I'd give some of my thoughts on it. But before we start that, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for more content. We got plenty more videos coming, and man, was tonight an awesome night for fights. You know, we're going to take a look at, we're going to start from the Robbie Lawler fight and make our way up to the main event. Robbie Lawler finishes Nickal Price with 38 seconds. Man, this was a fantastic fight there from Robbie Lawler. I mean, he was looking like his prime form, using his footwork. He was using his really crisp boxing, able to get the clinch, you know, land a couple nice uppercuts, you know, left hooks, and was able to get that knockout. And what can I say other than the fact I'm happy for Robbie Lawler? I hope he does well in retirement. He's an absolute legend of the sport. And I cannot wait to see what he does next. I can't wait to see what he goes for in his future ventures, because the man's an absolute legend, and he deserves his retirement, man. He's been in the game for so long. He deserves to do whatever it is that makes himself happy. Now, moving on to the big card. Starting off with Nickal versus Val Woodburn. This fight was okay. I mean, like, yes, it was a quick first-round knockout. How could you say it's just okay? Well, to be honest, we didn't really learn much about Nickal. He fought a guy who was making his UFC debut, and no disrespect to Val Woodburn, but he's not on the level of other UFC middleweights. And yes, Nickal, you know, rocked him with the right hook, hit him with a few lefts, a few rights, and knocked him out. Yes, it was a very clean and quick performance, but we didn't really learn anything about Nickal, besides the fact that he has power in those hands. Because yes, he absolutely does have power in those hands, but I would like to see him get tested against people who are, you know, more on this caliber. I want to see him fight a top 15 fighter next. You know, let's see what he's really made of. Next up, we have the Jalen Turner versus Dan Hooker fight. And to be honest, guys, I actually thought that this was, you know, a pretty good fight. Jalen Turner started off pretty well. Dan Hooker throwing some lead leg kicks here and there. But as the fight went on, even before the commentary started mentioning it, I was becoming very aware of the fact that Jalen Turner looked like he was starting to fatigue a little bit. You know, that weight cut potentially had some massive effects on him. We don't really know much, to be honest. But Dan Hooker put in a pretty decent performance. You know, he rocked Jalen Turner at the end of the second round, almost finished it with a submission. And then before you know it, you know, Jalen Turner he's out on his feet. Then we start the third round. And when we started the third round, Jalen Turner was still looking pretty rocked to me. And it was very concerning. He was able to survive to the end of the round, and Dan Hooker won by split decision. I don't know what judge gave it to Jalen Turner. I mean, I guess if you gave him the second round, because he did rock Dan Hooker with a high kick, maybe blonde Dan Hooker is just a thing. Maybe dyeing your hair blonde is the way you win fights. I don't know. To me, at this point, it kind of seems like a trend, so it's probably it. Now, we're going to talk about the big upset on the card. Whittaker versus Plessis. Guys, the fight kind of went how I thought it would have went, besides the finishing sequence, right? Everyone knew coming to this fight that Whittaker was going to be the better striker. Everybody knew coming into this fight that Whittaker was probably going to be the better grappler. We all knew Robert was going to be faster and just more technical. And that's exactly what we were seeing at the start of the fight until Dricus went for a takedown, and I think that caught Whittaker off guard. Because Whittaker's takedown defense has historically been very good. He is an elite anti-wrestler, and there's no way that he was thinking that Dricus was going to go for a takedown on him. I don't think he expected it. Now, my prediction going into this fight was Dricus' biggest chance of winning this is if he just lands a big right hand somewhere, catches Whittaker, who doesn't have the greatest chin, does get rocked often in his fights, has a great heart, but not the greatest chin in the world. You know what I mean? So I kind of figured that was Dricus' way to win this fight, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly how he won this fight. He pulled off the upset, and now he's going to fight Izzy, where I think Izzy's probably going to have a jab and leg kick fest for 5 rounds. That's what I personally think. Now, to move on to the co-main event, I think it's official. Moreno is allergic to A, title defenses, and B, Alexander Pantoja, man. He just cannot get past the Pantoja guy. Moreno, he was letting the offense go at times, but there was times where it just seemed like he just wasn't there. Moreno did not seem fully on his game tonight. Am I the only one who saw that? Like, there were times where it felt like Moreno just wasn't doing what Moreno normally does. Maybe he had a great training camp. Maybe he felt like he fought great. It was a good fight. But overall, I thought Pantoja won either 3-2 or 4-1. I don't know what the hell that judge was thinking that had it 49-46 for Moreno. That guy is, like, smoking some really good stuff. Some really good and expensive stuff right there. Let me tell you that one for free. And in the main event, Alexander Volkanovski pretty much dominated Yair Rodriguez. On the feet, Rodriguez was kind of getting the better of Volkanovski for the most part. But when it came to the wrestling, I mean, what happened was what I expected to happen. Volkanovski takes down Yair and controls him with the ground and pound. That's exactly what I expected to happen if it went to the ground. And that's exactly what happened. In the third round, Rodriguez was fighting well. He was starting to get loose. He was starting to do better until Volkanovski caught him with that right hook, rocked him, and was able to take him down and finish him. Overall, good performance by Volkanovski, a very good performance by Volkanovski. And most likely next for him is that rematch with Islam, because right now there isn't a lot going on at featherweight, besides maybe an Ilia Topuria fight, but Ilia might need one more win before getting a title shot. That's just me. But that's my quick UFC 290 recap, guys. Just giving my quick thoughts immediately after the fight. So let me know what you guys thought of UFC 290. Did you think it was a good card? Did you not think it was a good card? Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!